What?
Nothing.
Why are you looking at me?
Because you're the only thing to look at across the table.
Yeah, but the way you're looking at me.
With my eyes?
And the rest of your face that goes along with your eyes. The way your face is formed. How's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. You? Nice to see you.
It's been forever.
No, it hasn't. We've been doing this every week over the summer.
No, we have not. It's been replay after replay after replay.
You may be the worst wing woman in history.
Well, no, I mean, we had good back to school anxiety. It's always helpful, like just getting kids back to school and their schedules and stuff. And so the replays make sense. So that's that. But there's been a lot that's happened. I wanted to discuss a lot of things. There's a bit of an exciting, I'm not one to watch Summer Olympics, for example, but there was some pretty exciting Summer Olympics happening. I really got into the women's beach volleyball.
As did most men, yeah.
It was kind of cool to see Canada go as far as they did.
Yeah.
And you and I both partook. I don't know if it should be an Olympic sport, but we both watched breakdancing.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool to watch.
Wizard did his thing.
Japan got ripped, though. He should have taken second silver.
The greatest thing about the Olympics, the absolute greatest thing, is how quickly people become experts in sports they've never watched and didn't know existed until it was presented to them. And then they're like, why is that guy doing that? That's absolutely not a 10 score. What is happening? 4 hours earlier, that sport didn't exist to them. That's what we were like with breakdancing. We watched it and we're like, man, that looks amazing. Nope. The expert judges did not agree. They're wrong. That was our attitude the whole time. I'm not saying I disagree. I think the Japanese guy did get ripped, but I will never stop finding it funny how quickly people become experts at sports they've never watched.
He was good. I did think he was better watching him.
Yeah.
But I also saw clips of that one woman.
The Australian lady.
She didn't look good.
No.
So I'm not an expert, but that didn't look great.
Well, and she got 0 points, so the judges agreed with you. Actually, it's funny. One of the commentators from the Canadian feed was interviewed afterwards because she's getting a lot of hate online, that Australian girl.
Yeah.
And he was like, she knows what she's doing. I'm like, oh, dude, just nobody gave her a point. Like, relax. It's nice of you to do that, but stay out of it.
Yeah. And then it's been more recent events have been really sad. Goudreau.
No, yeah, Johnny. Yeah, that sucks. That's a bad one.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Yeah.
I don't even know what else to say.
Yeah,
I was very emotional with that one.
Yeah, that one's just awful. He was a good dude, or from all reports, he was a good dude. Young family, his extended family. It was awesome. It was always great in this city, but yeah,
it just makes you think. Like, well, I always tell the girls this could be it. So like, Mom, we know you love us. You don't have to tell us every second of the day. I'm like, wait, this might be my last chance. So I always need to make sure.
Well, and even like, I think I mentioned to you, even the dude at the Metallica concert that I was at. Right?
Yeah.
Done. First concert. Boom. See you later.
It was his first concert?
No, it was the first concert of the weekend.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the Friday night. But this just sucks, man.
Yeah.
But
gotta hold on tight to what's important.
Yeah.
And we know this and we say this, and yet we still get caught in the day-to-day rat race.
Well, it's funny because that's, without you even knowing it, that's kind of setting up my topic for today.
Oh, actually?
It kind of is.
Oh, okay.
So I came across an article and I laughed and I saved it. So in the States, the Surgeon General released a report about parenting. What do you think that report said from the Surgeon General of the United States?
That we're doing it incorrectly.
No, it's horrible for your health. Being a parent is horrible for your health. Basically said it's so challenging that nearly half of the parents can barely function due to the combo of loneliness, money woes, general stress. So it's the Surgeon General Vivek Murthy's new report. So approximately 66% of parents
See, I was going to, we're doing it incorrectly and causing poor health outcomes for our kids, but
it's literally about the
makes sense.
health of the
Okay.
parents.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So I thought this was interesting. So approximately 66% of parents said they were consumed by worries, were compared to 39% of other adults. So quite a significant difference. Yeah. I mean, it's all the different parts of it, right? Like it's the money woes, it's the decisions about the kids, it's the kid stresses and all that stuff. So the topic that I wanted to kind of dive into is, and it's funny that you brought it up, right? About you never know and all that. So what can parents, or what do you think parents should be doing more of for themselves to try and take care of it, right? Like we've talked at length about how it seems like everything's more stressful, everybody's more angry, everybody's more, a lot more negative perception of people and the way they're behaving. And I think it correlates to a lot more negative health habits. So from your perspective, what do you think about that?
Oh man, this is going to be the intro to one of my podcasts, but it kind of fits here. So it's going to sound like I'm taking a big left-hand turn here, but I am going to bring it back to this.
Oh, let's see how you do this.
Okay. Do you know what the one thing that separates us from other species, from other animals?
Cable TV.
No, but from when we diverged 200,000 years ago.
I don't know. We formed legs and walked out of the primordial
Fire.
Fire.
It's fire.
All right.
What's the song? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I want to be like you. I want to walk like you, talk like you.
Yeah, it's from the Jungle Book.
Yeah, because he wants fire, right? He wants the...
Yeah, it's where King Winter movies.
Yeah, he wants fire. So that's what separated us. So with fire, we were able to extend our days, right?
Mhm.
Because during the day, we work. Even 200,000 years ago, they worked all day looking for food, looking for shelter, protecting themselves, ba, 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 ba. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No, I'm riveted.
Okay. But when we found fire, we were able to extend our day. So in that extended period of time, we didn't need to work, right? At that time, now we focused on just sitting and eating and being and connecting and right. So it was the downtime for about 3 hours. So that was, 3 to 4 hours after sunset. Everybody went to bed. That was important too. I mean, that could be a whole other piece of this, but everybody went to bed. There wasn't, children went to bed and then parents stayed up. It was everybody went to bed. But anyways, all this to say, in that time, that became a really important time for oneself to express oneself, to be oneself, to do whatever it was that they were interested in. Interestingly, when people go and do like research and they look at traditional cultures around the world, I mean, a lot of that time it's talking about politics or, lifestyle, arts, things like that. But probably back then too, they're hypothesizing it was very similar, just strategy, but also, so there's the connection piece, but also the expressing piece. So I think that that's really important. And someone had made the comment of what we do in that time between essentially dinner and bedtime can make all the difference in the world in our mental health. So we can make these grand proclamations because I think we do that and we get caught up in it. Well, I just said it earlier today. I'm like, man, we always make these grand proclamations, but nothing ever changes, right? And we know all a gazillion things that we need to do, sleep and eat and connection and ba, 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 ba. But what if we could just focus? And that's what I'm always, when I break it down, when I'm working with families, I'm always breaking it down. It's not being a perfect parent all the time, but what if for 5 minutes you could be really intentional and be that parent that you want to be? So what if we could just focus on that time? And it doesn't even have to be a full 3 hours from dinner time to bedtime. Maybe it is just an hour in there, that window. What would make all the difference in the world for you to end your day on a more positive note, right? Or in a meaningful way. Mm-hmm. So it could be connecting with kids. It could be, but maybe it's reading a book, maybe it's doing art, but just something. And to tie in like with what you're talking about, I mean, it could be a self-care piece, but
Mhm.
it's just expressing yourself because I think we lose who we are along the way, right? Like our interests. Well, I was just saying it the other day. We were at the cabin by ourselves, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take half an hour and just watch one of my shows
Mhm.
because I can't even do that. The minute a child knows that I'm about to watch TV, what are you watching? Oh, I don't like that show. Right. And so we kind of put ourselves and the things that we're interested in or want to do to the wayside. But I've talked a lot now. Do you see where
Yeah,
did I
yeah,
bring
I
it
see how it comes
around?
back. Yeah, it's all
Okay.
the same thing, right? Because you're basically it's exactly that. It's what do you need to do? Because we've talked about it before in other capacities. Like you have to take care of yourself to be able to take care of your family,
Mhm.
right? But it's funny to me that there's an actual study saying, yeah, no, being a parent is awful for your health, right? Like just in that context, I'm like, yeah, no, I could have told you that years ago. It's the worst. But you're raising really good points about because a lot of what we talk about, I find in this show, is about setting up frameworks or setting up systems or setting up things that make it easier just to kind of follow through on. And this sounds to me like a very similar thing, right? Like, you're working until what time, right? You've got whatever family commitments you have, kids, sports, whatever, da, da, da. How do you make sure that you set up a portion of each day so it's just for you, right? And I think for me,
But it could also involve your family if that's what's important to you, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't have to be just you going off for an hour soaking in a tub either.
Yeah, no, I think there's an ability to have both, right? Because I think it's important to connect with the family, but I do also think, me personally, I do need that time where it's just quiet, where it's just me, right? And typically I go to bed later than you, so that's when I get it. Everybody else is in bed, so I get an hour or so where it's just quiet, and then I go to bed, right? And that's kind of a decompression for the most part for the end of the day for me because I learned a long time ago I need that, right? And we've talked before about how I think as I'm getting older, I find I'm more introverted because I find it, you know, not draining makes it sound really negative, but I find it takes a lot out of you to be on all the time, right? To be engaged at work and really focused and really having those interrelationship and those back and forth. And then immediately from there, it's typically drop your work, get in the car and take your kids somewhere. And then you got to do that with full. So for me, there's usually two things I crave, which is just some sort of relaxation activity, whether it's with the family playing cards or a game or just reading together or just chilling in the front room. That particular act doesn't matter to me. And then at the very end, yeah, a bit of time to just kind of do nothing, right?
But but what do you do in that time?
A lot of time it's like the lights are off and I cry a lot, like by myself in a room in the corner of the house because you guys can't hear me. Like it's not loud. It's like like a lot of that. A lot of that. It depends. Like it honestly depends. A lot of time I'll just read. Sometimes I'll just sit and listen to music. Like I'll put my headphones in and just chill. It's a lot of the easiest way to describe it is a lot of just this isn't the right way to describe it, but it's just something like if I'm doing music, right? Like it's literally just sitting and listening to the music. It's not scrolling on my phone, it's not reading. Because the one thing I have found as well is we've gotten, and I mean this is a collective, not necessarily you and me, but actually I'll just say it for myself. Everything has to be done with something else at the same time to maximize time, right? If I'm walking the dogs, I listen to a book, right? If I'm driving, I listen to something. If I'm doing something else, I should have something else going. Like, and it's tiring, right? It's a lot of input and a lot of split attention, and it drains you. So for me, it's literally if I'm going to read, I try and just read, right? If I'm listening to something, I just try and listen to something.
So I assumed you just went and did work or watched a movie or something or both. That's
I
usually
will. I will. Yeah, I definitely do that, right? Like I'll work and have something else going on, but I'll know when I just need a night of no. I just need to gear down.
because I think that's like a key piece. Work was done, right? Come
Yeah.
dinner time, work was done. And the rest of the time was the reason we had fire and the benefit of fire was we could invent and daydream and like explore and you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's why we advanced and
And I'm finding that while I love the flexibility of how my work operates, the trade-off is that flexibility extends the time I need to re-engage, right? There is no leave the office at 5 and not think about it again until 9 a.m. the next morning. It is, I got to go because there's an appointment or something the kids need, and I got to get back on here in 3 or 4 hours to finish up what I didn't get done, right? Because my day isn't actually done. So it blurs the lines, right?
Well, and that's just tricky because I think I'm good at turning work off at the end of the day. I don't work. I mean, I start at like 3:34. So like
you're done.
I'm not sleeping, but I'm pretty good at not working at night. But I think that's the thing. We just got to be, consumption is not part of this. So TV, drinking, food, like that's just not part of it. I can't remember exactly what this one researcher was saying, but he was saying the problem with parents saying, I need my time after the kids go to bed. Now that's pushing their bedtime back, right? And now that's hard because it's messing with your circadian rhythm. It's messing with your sleep, right? Like sleep has got to be a priority.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other piece of this because kids aren't probably going to sleep. Like you got to get up to take them to school the next day. And
yeah, I don't find that to be too bad because I find if I sleep for longer than 6.5, 7 hours, it doesn't do me any benefit because I wake up in pain.
Yeah.
Right. So my window is 6 to 7 hours max.
And that's fine.
Yeah. Right. So for me, I'm typically up between
trying to get to 6 hours. If I can consistently get 5, that'd be good.
Like for me, I'm getting up between 6 and 7 most days.
That's
right.
good.
So that because my day starts at 7:30 now. Right. Work is online at 7:30. So that really means is if I'm in bed by 11, midnight on a late night, I'm still getting 6 hours, right? I'm still getting a minimum amount, a consistent amount. So and I've always been a night owl anyways. Like I've always been up later. That's just how it was. I can't do super late nights and super early mornings like I used to, right? So I do have to make sure there's some consistency, but short of just simply blocking the kids while they're awake to get your time, I don't know how else you would do it, right? Like I recognize that for a lot of people that would shake it up and make it a little difficult, but that's effectively saying that you have to not have alone time or time to collect yourself if that's what you need because you need sleep more, right?
But you're assuming, and that's the thing, and that's what I'm trying to say. You're assuming that we need alone time to do our own thing.
I'm telling you from my perspective, I do.
Yeah.
100, like I can't speak for everybody else. I know I do. Like I know, and it comes down to the fact that there's not one day that I get a half an hour uninterrupted from my main focal point with other people coming at me constantly. Like this phone buzzes constantly, and it's whether I have the notifications on or not. Hey, how do we get the PlayStation to work? This won't work. How does this work? Hey, I'm at school and this doesn't happen. And I know we've talked about this and you're like, well, just ignore it. It's like, yeah, true. But it builds because then this is just an example, like I had Willow last week call me to tell you something because she didn't think she'd be able to get a hold of you. And it was about whether she was going to hang out with you at the cabin or not. And I'm like, why are you calling me for this? Like, this is a conversation between you and your mom. Why am I involved in this? That's a constant, right?
See, and the difference is, so I actually have a great example because I don't respond.
Yeah.
And which forces them to figure it out. So the girls were going to do, because I wasn't around for back to school shopping. And so I just said, hey, I'll send you money. You guys go shopping together, right? Make sure you get your runners or shoes and an outfit, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I sent money. And then, so there's this thread of texts from Maya, like, oh my gosh, my bank limit only has $100. And then it was like, I guess we can't go, like a little bit later because she wasn't hearing. And then she's like, never mind, Willow still wants to go. So I guess I'm just going to go. But eventually she called the bank and she figured it out. So I never had to respond. She figured it out and she increased her limit so that they could go and she could use her debit card. Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that forced figuring it out.
That's true. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely true. All three of you do it. It isn't the kids, right? So it's, as much as I would love to do that, it becomes a scattershot effect where if I don't, it goes to the next person who comes to me, and then it goes to the next person who comes to me.
Just try just one day or one
Cool.
week, like just don't
Cool.
respond and see what happens.
Cool. I'm saying it right now.
Yeah.
You're going to get upset because you do it too. And you're like, hey, what's happening? Blah, 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 blah. I don't have a clue. Why are you texting me? But it's not just you three. Like, I don't want to paint it as it's just you three, but there is an expectation broadly of immediate access based on someone else's attention. Like, this has entered my head. I'm going to send this to this person. They need to prioritize and respond back to me immediately. And I get it. And at work, I try and practice it a lot, but work is a perfect example. There is an expectation, because we're remote, that the means by which you are contacted are monitored constantly, whether you're doing something else or in another meeting or whatever. Literally, if you're 2 minutes late for a meeting, I have multiple meetings during the day that overlap each other, so I have to prioritize and pick and choose. Whatever meeting I've chosen to go to, within 2 minutes of the other meeting starting, someone's paying me, are you coming to this meeting? Nope. That's why I said I wasn't coming to this one. Well, you're supposed to be at this. I get that. And it's an illness. It is an illness, right? So,
and I see this like with parenting too, but
totally,
we enable as well, right? And like that's where I'm getting at. Not you specifically, but I'm just saying like that's what ends up happening, and we create these dependencies and expectations.
Yeah, and I'm trying to put those boundaries back in place, because I absolutely know personally I need the opportunity to just not have that, right? And it's great. It's great to be, appreciated, or well, maybe not appreciated. It's great that people feel that you're a person they can turn to for a lot of things, but it also comes with a considerable amount of distraction and weight associated with it when it's constant, right? So I do need that. Like, that's why when you say, what do you want to do? I don't want to do anything. Like, I love doing things. I love hanging out. But I get to a point where I'm like, I just don't want anything I don't want anything to buzz. I don't want the doorbell to ring. I don't want any, I don't want any of that. And I know that's an outcome, a result of how things operate day to day, right? But that's the point that we're at. But it comes back to the original point of, how do you build things that give you the opportunity to take better care of yourself, right? Mm-hmm. So.
And sometimes it's just acceptance too, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it is just knowing that child rearing years are hard. And we've talked about the research, right? Like happy, your satisfaction in the marriage is high. If we looked like at a graph, as soon as you got kids, it dips down to like near zero until kids leave.
Yeah.
And then it's like right back up to original sort of satisfaction. So so part of it is that.
Like, you and I are at a point where you can get a sense that there's light around at the end of the tunnel. Like, we're coming around a turn, and you can feel it. You're like, oh, like, when you're on a train and you just know that you're about to exit it into the sunshine. We're there. We're almost there. The only thing that's going to stop us is if this train derails. Like, we got to get there.
So I think it's just in the time, so we don't have heart attacks and strokes and cancer and whatever else, what other physical health conditions that we could develop in that time, is just finding that window that we can create and not having our yeah buts, because it's always our yeah buts, right? Oh, but we've got hockey and we've got to be at the rink and we've got to, but there is a time where those kids are getting ready. Mm-hmm. Right. You're not out in the rink with them. Maybe you are taking them to dance or to swimming, or what could you do in that time that would be meaningful for you? Right. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of like looking at what you've got and making the most out of that, something meaningful that like just one little thing that could make this moment one iota better than what it was yesterday.
Yeah. Right. And I think realistically, what we're both agreeing on is that if the kids weren't there, it makes a big difference in that moment being great. I'm kidding.
But for some, it's like being like yesterday, we were just hanging out, although one of our children wasn't digging the Trivial Pursuit kind of stuff, but we were playing a family game in the front room, just chilling. We were also just talking. Like, for me, that wasn't me off. I always loved the idea of, spending the afternoon going and reading a book or whatever. But it's also those
Yeah, yeah.
moments of connection. Because I hadn't seen that, well, Willow, I hadn't seen in a couple of weeks, and I'm actually leaving again for another week. I'm not going to be around a lot, unfortunately.
Enough that the
So
children asked me how it was going to be single parent as a single parent for the next few months.
I
That's how much you
know,
travel.
I know. So, I really wanted to cherish that, even though it wasn't long. It was like 20 minutes,
The whole
right?
day though was structured that everybody could kind of chill when they needed to, right? Like that was our, like you even said it when we got home was, yeah, I'm okay. Today's just going to be a chill and relaxed day. And so everybody defined that as what they wanted in that moment. And yeah, we did make sure there was a couple of things that we did as a family, which was cool. It was perfect, right? And then we all hung out and had dinner. And so that was perfect. Even this morning started well, right? Everybody kind of got up and the race was on, so a few of us watched that. And then as soon as it was over, we had breakfast together, went for a big walk. Like it flows, right? And so for me, yeah, we've had a great kind of 24 hours.
I made black licorice French toast
Yeah, you didn't crush it. They
accidentally.
were fine, but you didn't crush
I
it.
just wasn't paying attention.
I think the problem though is it took away from everybody's admiration of my hash browns because they were on point. They were real good. No black licorice taste there. Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's defining what it is, and I think realistically, yeah, like I don't not want to have those moments where we're hanging out together and having that connection, but I also recognize personally for me, I need a balance of that, right?
Well, and we used to do that when they were kids, and maybe it's bringing that back up again. So for parents, I think it's important to think about what would make all the difference in the world. Is it that carving out that alone time? So when the kids were little, we had a mandatory quiet time,
Mhm.
like quiet alone time. And I think as they got older, it was an hour.
Yep.
But you could even just start with half an hour, from 7 to 7:30. It's mandatory alone time. And we were pretty firm with boundaries. I did not acknowledge children. Like I don't see children. I don't hear children between 7 and 7:30.
Yeah, you've got a gift for that.
And they were pretty good with
Mhm.
that, right? And so,
Well, they learned to enjoy it too, right? Like it wasn't like it was a punishment. It wasn't presented as a punishment. It was presented as everybody gets a chance to chill, but it was on your own, right? So they would go to the playroom or they would go to their room or whatever. And yeah, I don't disagree. I think now it's much more organic. Like
Mhm.
someone will say, I just want to sit and read today. And cool. And people can either mimic that or go off and do their own thing. The struggle is not falling into the trap of, oh, should. Well, everybody's quiet. I should. And we do that a lot, like a
Yeah.
lot. Like you got fidgety and went to Staples yesterday, right?
That was my
I,
ad.
I,
It was my ad.
but
Yeah.
right. Originally, you're like, we're sitting, we're this, and you even said, do you want to do that now? No. 2 hours later, we should go. And you guys, and it's cool because I know you guys had a good time. But I was laughing as I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, they didn't even last an hour and a half.
Well, and I was happy not. I really did not want to go, but she was dropping, and I had also promised her to get her hair cut. Because she's sort of started university already, but her first day is Tuesday. But I'm leaving tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's a long weekend, and I knew I couldn't. So that's why I offered it. The only reason she decided she did later is because she didn't think she would be able to see her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, today might actually be the only day that
Yeah, it all worked out. Like, and it wasn't like it was a stressful, you spent all day running errands. It was just a quick couple, but it made me laugh. I'm like, we went from chilling to you guys leaving real quick. Like in the time it took me to get upstairs to get unpacked and get showered, you guys were already heading out the door.
Well, and I spent the day. I didn't just sit and chill.
No.
That's all I wanted to do was sit and read. But I had to unpack all my stuff from the whole summer. I had to unpack everything, put it away, did the shelves. Hey, that was good. Shelves in the closet, got stuffed in. Anyway, so yeah, I think it's just maybe again focusing on the one small little piece, and it was just so interesting that's the time, right?
Mhm.
Like that, and when you think about it, yeah, that really was. There was nothing else they couldn't work. There was no way they could work, and
Yeah.
so
And it's starting to bring some of that back, right? Like I think, yeah, you struggled for a long time with working all day, every day until you passed out, and literally until you went to sleep. You've been way better the past few years about you come home and you're done. And yeah, I mean, every so often there's, oh, I got to do this thing, which is fine, right? Like it's whatever, but it's not consistent.
Mhm.
Like there used to be ones where you'd be 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., right? Like you'd just be rolling. And so you've been much better about that. And me, I'm finding with the new kind of role, the job is awesome. Like, I don't want to paint a bad picture. It's awesome, but it absolutely requires more boundaries, right? Which is, and like, not to say like this weekend's a long weekend. We mentioned that. I haven't heard a peep from work,
Yeah.
right? That hasn't always been the case. But for me, it's how to set boundaries during the workday to be able to focus solely so you're not ending the workday just drained because you're pulled in a million different directions, right? Which then extends over to the evenings. Like, how do you set up the personal time to make sure that you're focused as well and doing things that ultimately benefit you?
Yeah. Amazing. So the takeaway is just maybe look at that time, after dinner, before bed, even if it was 5 minutes, something meaningful.
Yeah.
Right. Then you can expand it from there. And maybe ask the family, sit down and have a family talk, and what would make a meaningful night for you, even if it was just a short period of
Unless
time.
you have teenagers, because inevitably the answer is going to be, I don't know, nothing. What? I don't know what you're asking.
That's a question. I got to think about that.
I got to think about that, which is teenager for, I don't want to have this conversation right now.
Yeah.
Ever.
I was asking Maya and her boyfriend a couple weeks ago questions and simple things. And they're like, I got to think about that. I'm like, if you could have, your own chef for the day with, that would make you whatever you want, what would you ask? Oh, that's a tough one. And he never did answer. Neither of them answered.
What's your favorite color? Ooh, I don't know, man. That's a big question. Yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, bye.